tumeingia kwenye lile jisamba la kwamba tumekwambia tutakuwa na mgeni, na mgeni mwenyewe tayari ameshafika hapa. Kikubwa tunakwenda kutengenezea mazingira mazuri, yani vipi ambavyo kwamba unaweza ukawa na side hustle au ukaanzisha biashara. Tips zake ni zipi? Gona. Yes.
Yeah, so in studio we have our guest, the first guest of the day.
Yes.
Yashpal.
Hi.
How are you?
All well.
Yeah, he's the director, Elimu Masters Hub. So welcome, Yashpal. Kindly, now I should ask you now to introduce yourself, because I might massacre your name, and I'm not ready for that.
No, that name is very famous. So when I interact with people and I tell them that my name is Yashpal Sihag, they immediately connect me with the Yashpal guy.
Yashpal guy.
And I have to correct them. No, I have no relationship with the Yashpal guy.
Yes.
But yes, we are two different people.
Yes, and that's why I wanted you to clarify on that. Yeah, so how are you?
All well. Doing good.
Yeah. I've heard you comment on how our studio is.
Yes, it's a beautiful studio.
Yeah.
And with intelligent people.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So basically today we wanted to look at the tips, or rather the insights on how people can venture into different businesses. You realize that as Kenyans, mostly, if you're having a random discussion, you'll hear people tell you that you should not just wait for the salaries. Make sure you have a side hustle somewhere. Now, the only challenge is we never tell others what exactly they can venture into. So just people telling you, make sure you have a side hustle. And you're left at that point. So how best can we start having that side hustle? Where should we start?
Well, first of all, I feel that Kenya, or people of Kenya, they stand at a great chance to win the game of enterprise. The reason being, look at the IT, right? One of the fundamental industry which is connecting the whole world. We are good. We are so good in terms of our English language that we can sell ourselves to the whole world, compared to the other countries which cannot sell to the entire world. For example, even Russia is very powerful, but they cannot sell themselves to the entire world because the language is a barrier. And that is what I found young people around. One of their instant to use tool is a language, English language. Yeah, we'll come to that one. But as you have asked that, what are those steps which individual needs to make sure or need to check on before getting into side hustle? Looking at the core challenge, we have, I've met a number of young people across. I've worked in Kenya for almost last 7 years, and only in coastal region. 6 coastal counties, worked with the TVET departments, with trade departments, with vocational training centers, and with development agencies. I was in charge of the largest Go Blue project in coastal region for blue economy development. And during that, I encountered that young people, they have limited exposure.
Yeah.
So you bring 1,000 young people together, you ask them what kind of business you feel is good for you, you will end up having only 15 options. Boda Boda, M-Pesa, Kinyoji, restaurant, cafe, saloon, nail art, some like limited numbers. 1,000 young brains, but their ideas are limited. The reason is their exposure. I found that people from Garissa or Lamu, when I brought them to Mombasa, it was first time for them to travel to Mombasa. A young person at the age of 22 never traveled to city like Mombasa, which is a beautiful city. So the exposure is missing. First of all, the foundation of everything begins with the exposure. Here, with us, young people can only think of those ideas. But those young people who have a good exposure, they start now thinking even beyond, because their mind is exposed to different areas. So I invite all young people to go to exhibitions, to go to their local markets around and get new exposure. That's a foundation now. Now, coming to the choosing your side hustle, there are two sections to it. One of it is, I don't know, what is your background? Let me ask you this question. What is your educational background?
Education. I just did education, teaching.
Teaching, right?
Yes,
Teaching is your educational background.
Yeah.
Now, what is your interest?
My interest. That's a very interesting question. I think I'm much interested in the IT things.
Right.
Yeah.
So now for you, you are a teacher,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like your background is teaching.
Yes.
And your interest is IT.
Yeah.
Right? And I can see your English language is awesome.
Thank you.
So the best job for you is teach people in India and China English language
Nice.
using online. Become an online tutor. I'm just connecting the dot.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
not recommending that this is how you go about it. Right? 1.4 billion population in India, but they what percentage of them they speak English? 4,
4%.
right? It's a 4 to 5%, right? Now imagine how much opportunity. English teacher, Molimu English,
Yeah.
is considered the most respected teacher in the entire school in India. So, like you are seated here, you teach kids there in India. And I'm sure that parents will be like, they'll be very happy to pay you. We are connecting the dot here.
Yeah.
Young people need to know what their background is. Now, not everybody comes from a teaching background. Somebody, they have not gone through the higher education. They just come from a farming background. They need to connect their background with their interest. So, if their interest is travel and their background is food, right? They have some prior experience, then it's good to work and go around the world, explore something in relation to that. So your interest, your educational background, your family background helps you choose your field of business. Field of businesses, we understand them. There are hundreds and thousands of field of business: pharmaceutical, defense, IT, entertainment, cinema, travel, food, like endless, furniture, construction. So many field of businesses are there, right? Now, one can only get into the field if this person got some prior background, either from the family or educational background. Education is also considered as an experience. Young people say, oh, I'm a graduate in political science, but I don't have experience. That does not mean that you only become a leader or a politician, then you gain the experience. Your education itself is the experience of study, right? So you can connect that one. At least you get confidence. And confidence comes from two things, right?
Okay.
Once, you have a clarity in mind. And second, you have a ability to do it. Then you are called confident, because you know what to do and you know how to do it. So the confidence will only come when you choose field of business for your side hustle from your interest and from your family background. Now come to the second part of the coin, second side of the coin. That is, field is okay.
Yeah.
Let's say Rama wants to start a business, and Rama comes from a family background where they are growing potatoes somewhere in upcountry. Now, Rama studied accounts,
Yeah.
right? And now he wants to start business. He's thinking of the best business is to provide accounting services to people, those who grow potato, right? Or start a potato growing, because at least family background is there, so somebody will educate in the family.
Yeah.
So field we now put aside. The second section we go to, if I may ask you,
Yeah.
do you have any network in India?
Networking.
We are connecting the dots. Now you have connection. Let's say now you know Yashpal, right?
Yes.
You know how many schools are there?
No.
Yeah. So when I came to Kenya, I found that people are talking a lot about SGR.
Yeah.
And I asked, what is this SGR? Somebody told me SGR is a train between Mombasa and Nairobi.
Yeah.
And I wondered, so what is the hype? It's just a train, right?
Yeah.
I did not realize that was the first SGR. Because I come from a environment where there are 17,000 trains on the track any given point of time.
17 what?
17,000 trains. 3 times of Kenyan population travels by train every day there. So I never put that emphasize that what is all this train about. So maybe you don't have the connection, but now you have a connection, right? So how many schools, what do you think are there? 1.2 million schools.
1.2 million.
Right. One young person start teaching online in one school, 1.2 million Kenyans are employed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that idea. You said network, right?
Yes.
Network plays important role.
Okay.
If you know people who are manufacturers, then you can think of starting wholesale, because there are basically 4 types of business. We have looked at the field of business. Now we also need to think of type of business, because we cannot just go saying that I want to just start a shop. You never know. There are 4 types of businesses. One is manufacturing. Second one is wholesaling. Third one is retail. And fourth one is service. These are we can divide every business. Yeah. So Swahili Port is a service business.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can divide that into services. Once they know, they get the clarity that this is the type of business I want to start, then they become confident.
Okay.
So from there, your network and your preferences. Do you like working outdoor or do you like working indoor?
Windows.
Indoors.
Yeah.
Right? So having a laptop, seated with the laptop, communicating online is an indoor thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So your network and your preference. Would you like to deal with people, a lot of people, or are you okay with working with machines?
People or machines? Between people and machines.
Yeah. There are people, right?
Yeah.
Those who are very good with machines, but they don't like talking to, like they don't feel happy when they talk to people.
Yeah.
But there are also people, you ask them to do something on machine, they don't like it. They can do it, but they don't like it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Working with people.
yes, working with people, right?
Yes.
So that is your preference, working with people. You connect your network. If you know manufacturers, you start wholesaling. If you know wholesalers, you start retailing. That's how the connections work. So if I have a friend who manufactures shoes, it's good for me to start a wholesale business, because I can easily get something from my friend on credit to sell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, Yashpal,
That connects with the type of business.
the type of business. Now you have the field, you have the interest, you have the courage,
Yes.
you have the connection. But now, in the country here, Kenya, many factors affect entrepreneurship. We have access is a problem.
True.
That's road. We have capital is an issue.
True.
We have labor is another issue. And we have market. So for that youth who is listening to you right now, how can he or she maneuver to beat these effects?
Yeah, I've observed this one when I talk to people because in previous project I dealt with multiple programs where we issued grants and funds to young people so that they can start their businesses in the field of blue economy. Now, my understanding about business is that, first of all, don't look for grants or funds if your idea is not tested yet.
So
Like you yourself is not aware whether this idea will work or not. Then don't look for financial institutions to give you money. Always look for friends. Never go to established organizations to look for loans or any type of funds, because that becomes a liability to you. And it will be difficult for you to start again. So when your idea is not yet tested, it is still in your head. Like, you don't ask for money to start a business. You ask for money to scale the business. It is very simple. I have a wonderful car and I want a driver. What kind of driver do you think I'll look for? Anybody who doesn't know how to drive?
No.
I look for a person who knows how to drive, and not only drive, who knows how to obey the government rules, who has a license, everything, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Now, how do you expect other people to give money to a person who doesn't know how to make profit? You know, it's the same asset.
Yes.
It's only money converted into the car. But the fundamental things are, don't look for money when your idea itself is not yet ready. Or not, you have not tested. You don't have customers. And that's what I advocate always for. You may not get the biggest problem, as you describe, that access, capital.
Yeah.
But to me, the biggest problem is not capital. The biggest problem is customer. When you have customer, capital comes.
That's the market now.
That's the market now. The market comes first. You give me an example of any example that somebody got a grant and then made a big business. You will find none,
Why?
because they die. They only survive up to the grant level.
Yeah.
When the money is there, they survive. The money ends, they close the shutter and go home. Because entrepreneurship, the basic characters you look at, what are those basic characters? One is passion. Passion is something like, whatever happens, I'm gonna do this one, not other one, this one, right?
Yeah.
Risk taking. So if grant is coming, what risk are we taking here?
So, according to reports here, because of what you've just said, according to reports by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, about 2.2 million MSMEs died in the last 5 years.
Right.
This is a clear indicator to tough business environment for SMEs in the country.
True.
So, what can that young youth, that youth who is listening to you now, because if SMEs or they closed in the last 5 years, what other ideas that can work for him or her in the country if some young entrepreneurs like this, they die at the start between 5 years, they've disappeared?
Yeah, they disappear.
Yeah.
So the best and proven strategy is, when you don't have money, then you have a time.
Okay.
They go in hand. Eh? When you have money, you don't have time.
When you have time,
When you have time,
you don't have money.
you don't have money. There is this correlation. So at this starting age,
Yeah.
when you have a lot of time, Use that time to explore more, understand more. Somebody seated a person who thinks like, I want to start a travel agency. But all the time he does is he just browses the internet. No, that's not the only source of the information.
Okay.
According to our research, that's a secondary source, not a primary source.
Okay.
That's a secondary source of the information, not a primary source of the information.
What's the
If you want to get the primary source,
Yes.
then you talk to your potential customers. Internet cannot tell you what problem young people or a tourists are facing here in Mombasa. You have to literally go out and ask those tourists if there are any. So those young people, those who are at this early stage, who feels like I don't have money to start, then you invest your time in learning more about the field you want to start your side hustle in.
So now you mentioned that capital is not an issue.
Yes.
But again, I'm looking at it. How then do we start? Now, assuming that I have the idea,
Yeah.
I've actually looked into all other factors that you've mentioned. Now, how do I start with that? Just an example of my case.
Yeah.
I want to teach.
Yes.
I have the network, but probably I need internet. I
Right.
need maybe a laptop. Money should be involved.
Yes, that is true. Without resources, things never grow. Right? That's a basic thing. If you want a plant to grow, you need to water that plant.
Yeah.
So where does this water comes from? Now, just look at when plant is small, you're not going to pour the whole tanker of water in the plant.
Yes.
You only need a small glass to
yeah.
pour, right?
Yeah.
So when you are at that starting level, yeah,
Yes.
your requirement for that capital is just that small. And that also transaction to transaction. You know how this economy of selling tea on the street works. We have seen many young people selling tea,
yeah.
right? So the cost of the tea when you make it is 1/10 of what you sell, right? But their transaction is quick. They don't offer chai on credit that you come and collect tomorrow or after. Transaction is a quick transaction. So the money they need is only for today.
Yeah.
Not for the whole week to buy grocery, not for the whole month. It's a transaction to transaction progress in business. So you make sure that how much it costs for you to make first few transaction and just estimate that much of money. Yeah. So we don't have to go in setting up the whole business until we know that yes, it has a potential to provide me profit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, tuko naye hapa Yashpal, Director Elimu Masters Hub. Tunazungumza mengi kuhusiana na wewe kijana, namna ya kuweza kuanzisha biashara. Unafanya kazi ya mwezi lakini unataka kuwa na biashara, ama huna hata hiyo kazi ya mwezi lakini unataka kuanza biashara. Unaianzaanzaje? Tuko hapa na anazungumza kwa mapana zaidi. Usende mbali. Tunarudi muda sikitamba.
So Yash, there is Yashpal. Sorry.
Yes, call me Yash. That's okay.
Okay. So we have over 2 million businesses which died within the last 5 years. Do you think there could be a challenge of probably learning on the cycles of these businesses?
True. I do agree with you that the mortality rate of MSMEs is very high for Kenya.
Yeah.
And I'll not say only Kenya, but mortality rate for businesses, MSMEs across the world is very high at a starting age. Okay, so 1 to 3 year is what is called startup age. That's where we call them startups, right? So one of the major contributor for this mortality is entrepreneur. They have a very limited understanding of a business cycle. Normally, for example, there is a young person or me as a as a young person, if I start a business, this is how the normal thought process works. Okay, tuk-tuk business, eh?
Yeah.
The good business.
Yes.
Let me start one tuk-tuk business, because every day you give 1,000, like one tuk-tuk gives 1,000. So I will sit at my home and I will earn. I only need just one tuk-tuk, right?
yes.
Every day 1,000 shilling will come to my pocket,
Yeah.
right? And I will pay county fees, which is 800. I will pay insurance every month, which is not big money, right? But every day 1,000 is a good profitable business, right? Now I will reach out to my friends, my relatives, just to raise money for one tuk-tuk,
Yeah.
right? So I've taken that tuk-tuk, I bought that tuk-tuk, and now I'm looking for a driver who can drive that tuk-tuk. Now, see, as a side hustle, because I am already engaged somewhere, this tuk-tuk is my side hustle.
Yeah.
Right? That's where now all the mistakes start. Basic mistakes. Number one, if you don't have a skill of driving that tuk-tuk yourself, and you are expecting somebody to drive it for you, it is like opening a salon, but I don't know how to make nails or hairs. I hire somebody.
Yeah.
Like you are unemployed, you are adding more cost to your side hustle. So that's the first mistake they make. The secondly, they don't understand that now it's not only that 1,000. What happens if your driver leaves that tuk-tuk on the road? What happens if county inspectors find your driver violating the rule and you are now called to the central police and then go to the court? What happens if your tuk-tuk got a problem with the piston, right? And with the spare parts? And what happens if the spare part supply is not there? Right? And what happens if your tuk-tuk meets with an accident? Right? And what happens when your tuk-tuk is taken to the NTSA for inspection, and then they are saying that it's not eligible to run on the road? Right? Yeah. So as a young person, I'll not think of all those things when I'm starting. I'll just think of every day 1,000 is what my profit is. But that's not your profit. Normally, when you do calculations for tuk-tuk, you feel like, within 1.5 years, I'll recover my money. That's a wrong way of doing calculation. The recovery of the money is not only the tuk-tuk. The recovery of the money is the tuk-tuk price, the cost of the driver separately, and your cost which you are operating it apart from the expenses. Now when you put all that together, it goes almost for like 3.5 years to recover that cost. Now we call it, for a tuk-tuk business, the business cycle. One day. Some businesses, they have a longer business cycle. For tuk-tuk business, the business cycle is one day. Every day you give rental, tuk-tuk rental, right? Similarly, in your hotel, they also have a business cycle of 24 hours. You check out, you pay. You check out, you pay. The fastest transaction is at the restaurant. You pay and you eat food and you pay immediately, right? Within like their business transaction cycle is just like in minutes, like 30 or 45 minutes. Even there is a faster transaction business cycle, which is M-Pesa. When you send money to somebody, in like within second, the cut, the cost of the transaction, Safaricom receives it, isn't it? So their transaction business cycle is in seconds. And there are businesses where the transaction cycles are huge. For example, bank. It offers you loan for 3 years.
Yes.
Now that business transaction is, the cycle is
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
So between the long cycle and the
short cycle,
which is
for starting,
Yes.
make sure that your business has a shortest cycle possible. Have you seen many young people, they sell tea? With that jug,
Yeah.
carry jug and
Yes.
with
and
cup.
some
Yeah.
cups.
Why? because their business cycle is very short. Like within 1 minute, they'll give you tea, they'll collect money from you.
Yes.
Right? The business transaction cycle is small. On top of it, that helps them in their cash flow. We talked previously, right?
Yeah.
About how like you don't have to make effort to buy tea and coffee for the whole month. You just buy for the whole day. When your business cycle transaction is small, it helps with your cash flow. So there is a constant cash coming in and you can utilize it. But if your business cycle, you have like those poultry farm, if you have a poultry farm, your business cycle goes to 8 weeks.
Yes.
1 week for preparation, 6 week for rearing them, and then 1 week to sell. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So 8 weeks. Can you hold your cash for 8 weeks?
2 months.
Yes, it's 2 months. So it depends on the business cycle. The shorter the business cycle and the faster the transaction helps young people survive for longer. So mortality rate can be reduced when you have those aspects placed inside your side hustle. So look for business ideas which have instant or multiple transactions in a day.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we have only 4 minutes to 9. Now, because you told us you are the director Elimu Masters Hub. What does Elimu Masters Hub do?
So Elimu Masters Hub is geared to empower individuals to become entrepreneurs. There is a difference between individual and entrepreneur. An individual is the one who is satisfied with the life and doesn't have much ambition. That's how we put them. An entrepreneur is the one who is not satisfied with what he or she has and has a lot of ambition and wants to try out. So we assist individuals to become entrepreneurs. We have a structured program where we take them through the first stage called generate your business idea. Then after, once they have a concrete best profitable business idea, we help them prepare their business plans, a detailed business plan. I'm not talking about here 2-page grant business plan. No. The business plan, objective of the business plan is that when you present it to the bank and the bank financial advisor asks you question, you answer them confidently. The business plan is not prepared for like just for the document. No, the financial institutions, that's a very important tool for financial institutions. Based on that, they'll simply ask you a question, and if you are able to answer, they'll feel that, oh, you are confident about what you have presented. So business plan is a concrete understanding or deep understanding of your side hustle, what you're gonna do. And once you are in business, you start your business, then we assist this entrepreneur how to improve their business. Improvement means there are different business management systems. One is, let's say, staffing, another one is stock control, third one is marketing. There are different business management system. So we assist this entrepreneur how to work out all these different systems and improve. And once their business is improved, at least for 2 years, now we assist them to expand their business. So these are 4 stages we take them through. Expansion means either they add more product and services to their existing business, or they spread their geographical reach or their delivery reach to more customers across. So we are based in at Mombetari, on top of Naivas market. There is a Westerville startup house. So we are housed there on 3rd floor. And every month we also make sure that not only entrepreneurs start business, but those people, those who want to support entrepreneurs, they also get certified through a program called ILO SIYB, Training of Trainers program.
Okay.
And this ILO SIB training and of trainers program is world's largest business management training program. If anybody who wants to support entrepreneur and doesn't know how to start startups, incubation, accelerator, incubator, all these in the world of entrepreneurship, we certify them to do. So our trainers whom we train, they are instantly absorbed by financial institution, development agencies. The reason is now they at least have a very structured understanding of entrepreneurship and business skills.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for you coming. We've learned today so much. And I believe the youth outside there also learned too much, if it's not so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's also an honor and pleasure for me as well. I'm associated with Swahili Port Foundation Hub for a very long time. When I came to Kenya, at that time, that hub was nothing but of one room and 3 people. Yeah, I know with the leadership of our mentor, 001, it has really grown. But those who know the story behind, I mean, you people have put a lot of effort in making sure that community is educated well. And what you're doing through this postcard, like bringing the right effort of knowledge to the people on ground, is a tremendous job.
Thank you.
Information is empowerment.
Yes.
So
Information is power.
yeah, we really appreciate you people for this initiative.
Thank you so much. We'll obviously get back to you whenever we feel like we need to learn more. We'll always call you for such sessions.
Yeah, pleasure. Pleasure being here. Thank you.